Listen, Rihanna, when you die, God is taking me to my future. You want to shut the up, okay? Shut the Yeah, she's a witch. She's a witch. I'm a watchman. She's a witch. Get that stupid girl out of here. Okay? They can't do this. They can't do this. That's why you got Rihanna over there all jealous. Because how am I? Because her faith is the devil. Rihanna's faith is the devil. Okay? I don't like her. And she's always trying to steal from me. And she has not ever put out any music to reach people. She only did her little music thing so that she can do witchcraft. And so that she can steal from people. So everybody, please, don't listen to her. Don't follow her. Don't give that girl any air, space, or time. Because she's stealing.
You know you can have a soul tie with somebody it's not family, but do you believe you can have a soul tie? Do you guys believe that? You can have a soul tie with a human being. And I believe there's a soul tie between me and Rihanna.
Respect me and trust me enough to know, like, I knew the baby was a boy before the world knew, because she did tell me in France, she was like, I'm having a boy. But she knew I'm not going to say nothing.
What is it? A ray of force at me to push me down. I don't want you, and you don't go there. And you know what? God's judgment is going to be overwhelming against you when he grabs you and throws you down. I've already seen it. You saw Rihanna. You saw her picture. She has a very big forehead and an ugly, ugly nose. That's God's judgment on her. I keep telling her to stop harassing me. To stop harassing me. And she keeps doing it. She keeps harassing me. And I already bought stock in Ulta. And I have staked in Ulta. So now those energies can't hurt me when I go into Ulta anymore.
Because it's the hanging out that you don't see. You know, there's no cameras. It's not social media. It's we just talking about life. We did karaoke. I think it's just those. You can't tell me ever again. I don't care who you are. I don't give a fuck about nothing. I'm not even taking phone calls on my phones anymore because Rihanna's number is in my phone. So now you can't call me. In fact, when you call, the first thing I'm going to say is, this is Rihanna's friend. How can I help you? I'm not taking phone calls.
What started as a quiet Sunday inside Rihanna's Beverly Hills mansion turned into something straight out of a nightmare. And the details are only getting more disturbing. Imagine doing something as normal as washing dishes while your children and family are just a few rooms away. And suddenly, gunshots start tearing through your front gate. 10 rounds. Fired by a woman who allegedly drove across states, knew exactly where to go, and had been obsessively ranting about you online for months. But here's where things take an even darker turn, because some people aren't convinced this was just the act of a random, unstable fan. There are whispers, quiet but persistent, that this may have been a setup. And if there's anyone who might know what really happened behind the scenes, it's Jason Lee, one of the only people Rihanna reportedly trusts enough to speak freely with when the cameras are off. So is this a terrifying one-off incident, or is there something much bigger going on behind the scenes? Inside the home, A$AP Rocky, their children, and Rihanna's mother were all reportedly there when it happened. Just imagine that for a second. Your entire family under one roof while gunfire erupts outside. At first, there was confusion. Was it fireworks? Construction noise? But reality hit fast, and it hit hard. This wasn't random noise. This was an attack. The front gate left riddled with bullet holes, one round even making its way through a wall. The kind of damage that makes you realize just how close this came to becoming something far worse. Somehow, incredibly, everyone made it out physically unharmed. But let's be real. Safe doesn't always mean untouched. Because mentally, emotionally, that's a different story. They're okay, but this could have ended very differently. And then comes the person at the center of it all. Authorities quickly identified the suspect as Ivana Ortiz, a woman who, according to reports, had driven all the way from Florida to Los Angeles. Let that sink in. This wasn't someone who just happened to be nearby. This was a deliberate journey across states, ending outside one specific home. Even more shocking, She was reportedly tracked down and arrested at a mall in Sherman Oaks less than 30 minutes after the shooting. Quick, efficient police work, but it almost raises more questions than it answers. Because when you start connecting the dots, the situation stops looking random and starts feeling targeted. And that's exactly where things take a darker turn. Because this is where it gets disturbing. As investigators and internet sleuths dug deeper, a series of old videos and posts believed to be from Ortiz began resurfacing, and what they revealed was unsettling. In clip after clip, she allegedly ranted about Rihanna with intense, almost obsessive energy, calling her names, making bizarre accusations, weaving together conspiracies that painted a completely distorted version of reality. This wasn't just casual dislike or celebrity gossip turned sour. This looked like fixation, the kind that builds quietly over time, feeding on itself until it becomes something much more dangerous. The language, the tone, the conviction, it all pointed to someone who didn't just dislike a celebrity, but genuinely believed they were in some kind of personal conflict with her. And when obsession meets delusion, that's when things can spiral fast. Now here's where the story introduces a very interesting figure, Jason Lee. If you follow celebrity culture closely, you already know his name carries weight, especially through his platform Hollywood Unlocked. But what makes Jason different in this situation isn't just his media presence. It's his relationship with Rihanna. Because by all accounts, this isn't just industry-level networking or occasional red carpet interactions. This is something far more personal. Behind the scenes, away from cameras and headlines, their connection has been described as genuine. Private hangouts, late-night conversations, even moments as personal as Rihanna trusting him with the first reveal of her child's photos. That's not access you give to just anyone. That's trust, real trust, which is why many people believe that if there's more to this story, if there are details the public hasn't heard yet, Jason Lee might be one of the first to know. And that brings us to the part of the story that's starting to make people pause. Slowly, carefully, a different kind of conversation has begun to form online. Not loud, not confirmed, but persistent. Some people are starting to wonder, was this really just one person acting alone? Think about it. A cross-country drive. The exact location of a high-profile celebrity's home. Access to a weapon. A very specific target. On their own, each detail might be explainable. But together, they start to raise eyebrows. How did she know exactly where to go? Why Rihanna, out of all possible targets? And how did everything line up so precisely? Again, there's no confirmed evidence pointing to anything beyond what's been reported. But when stories like this unfold, people can't help but ask questions. And right now, those questions are only growing louder. There's also another layer to consider, one that's less about conspiracy and more about psychology. Because when someone shows signs of instability or deep obsession, it doesn't always take much for that to be amplified. The internet, private messages, online communities. These spaces can sometimes reinforce harmful beliefs rather than challenge them. So it opens up another possibility. Not that someone orchestrated everything directly, but that influence, subtle or intentional, may have played a role. Could someone have encouraged the fixation, fed into it, pushed it further? There's no proof of that, and it's important to say that clearly. But it's a question that lingers, especially in situations where behavior escalates this dramatically. In the aftermath of the attack, one thing became clear. Rihanna's priority shifted instantly to protection. Reports suggest she moved her entire family to an undisclosed location, putting as much distance as possible between them and the place that no longer felt safe. And honestly, who could blame her? It's easy to see celebrities as untouchable, as people who exist behind gates and security systems. But moments like this strip all of that away. At the end of the day, she's a mother. Someone whose children were inside that house when gunfire broke out. That kind of fear doesn't just disappear overnight. It lingers. It reshapes how you move, how you trust, how you feel in your own home. And now, we're left in this strange space between what we know and what we don't. Officially, this is being treated as the act of an obsessed individual. Case closed, at least for now. But the unanswered questions are still there. quietly sitting beneath the surface. How'd you get the address? Why was Rihanna the focus of such intense fixation? And is it really as simple as it seems? Or is there something we're not seeing yet? With Jason, Lee continuing to share updates, many are watching closely, waiting for the next piece of the puzzle to fall into place. Because at the end of the day, one question refuses to go away: was she acting alone or not?